Good day and welcome to KVV Masters. In today's session, I have the privilege to speak with a good friend of ours at KVV and of mine, Kobus van Berg. Kobus is the Group Executive Director and CXO, Customer Experience Officer of the eMSDigital Group, and he is one of the foremost authorities in South Africa on driving digital transformation and customer experience transformation in business. I've asked him to share some of his insights of the impact of the uncertain times that, like the corona, that we're currently facing as a country and in the world, and what that impact can have on our digital lives and how much we can safeguard our business against it. Welcome, Kobus.
Thank you, Dion. It's great to be here. You know me, I always welcome an opportunity where I can share insights and possibly help local businesses grow. And hopefully I'll be able to do the same for KVV's viewers here today.
Thank you. It's great having you. Kobus, let's get right into it. I've prepared a few questions for you, and I'm looking forward to spending the next few minutes with you. The first question: the impact of this coronavirus is unprecedented. Do you believe that the COVID-19 pandemic is causing an acceleration in our digital lives, both personally and in business?
Yes, Dion, it's true that social distancing has had a direct impact on our ability to go out and about. And this does mean that we have seen an increase in internet traffic by up to 70% around the world just in the last month. And we've also seen that social media use has jumped by 22%. Now, this is, of course, largely due to the result of lockdowns in many countries. But we've also seen that there are so many more people turning to the internet for entertainment that YouTube and Netflix and Showmax and DSTV all had to drop their streaming quality because of this increase in demand just to cope with the strain on our telecoms networks. Now, we're also finding in our personal lives that we are currently buying groceries online. We are going to church online. We are going to school online. We are doing all our research online. I don't believe that the World Health Organization would ever have expected to get the amount of traffic on their website that they are getting right now. And in our business lives as well, we currently have to hold all our meetings online. And we had to adopt technologies like Skype and Zoom, just like we are doing today. We've also seen a massive uptake in virtual events because people are not able to go out and about and network in groups like they used to. Businesses had to improve their online customer support. And in this case, I'm just thinking of Standard Bank, for instance, who recently launched their WhatsApp chatbot. We also are sitting in a situation right now where we as businesses have to do all our research and do all our purchases online, make all our purchasing decisions online. Just from an experience perspective, share a bit of insight there. I've recently received a grocery delivery. And instead of having to sign for the delivery, the courier whipped out his phone and he took a picture of me instead. So we can see that companies are adapting and they are changing the way in which they do things. So we can't really deny that the pandemic has had a visible effect on every single one of us. And yes, accelerating our digital lives on both the personal and business front is certainly one of these effects. And the reality is that our world will probably never be the same again. So I'm sure that we will see this increased
Kobus, thank you for that insight. It really makes good sense, and it's interesting to hear how the banks is moving on and everybody trying to adapt to the times we live in. The next question is, with so much uncertainty in the market at the moment, what can we as businesses do to navigate the next few months in our lives?
Yes. Dion, I think to help me answer this question, I'm going to share a few slides with you. So let me just share my screen and tell me if you can see it on your side. There you go.
Okay. Yes, I can.
Got it. I'm just going to move a picture of the two of us to the side here for a moment. So yes, in terms of looking forward, we have to understand, first of all, that many businesses are sitting in a situation right now where they are not able to deliver their products and their services in the way that they used to. So It's true that we also have to understand that this situation that these businesses currently find themselves in is not going to be something that's going to last a month necessarily, or 2 months or 3 months. It's something that's going to have an impact on these businesses going forward. And what we do right now will definitely determine our success as businesses in the next 2 to 3 years. So as businesses, we need to lay the foundation right now to accelerate out of the bend. And to help me answer this question, there's a great bunch of guys over in Australia at Blue Wire Media, and Adam recently answers this question as well. And I'm going to use a few of the slides that he shared, which I'm going to use as a guideline for us today. So if we look at our current situation where we are right now, so while we are recording this interview, we are sitting in April 2020, the end of April 2020, and we are currently finding ourselves in a great deal of uncertainty as businesses. And the reality is we don't really know when this uncertainty is going to end. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, it could be even longer. But as businesses, there are different ways that we can react. And most of the reports that we are seeing right now is showing that we will get back to some kind of normality, whatever that might be, probably around April 2022. So what we do in the next 2 years is literally going to decide what our business is going to look like once we achieve that, or once we reach that point. Now, as businesses, we can find ourselves in 3 different situations. Businesses who are finding themselves in the red boat over here, these are businesses generally who is taking no action whatsoever. They fearing things, they're in panic, and they're not doing anything or adapting to the change in the market that we are seeing right now. So these companies who are not doing anything and not taking any action, the sad truth is that we will most likely not see many of them once we hit the survival line and the uncertainty starts clearing up. Then you can be a business potentially that might find yourself in the orange boat over here. Now, businesses that are finding themselves on this orange line, these are businesses who are trying to continue as they are doing things or as they have been doing things. They're also not really adapting to the change that is happening in the market right now. So they're literally fighting against it and trying to cope with the day-to-day things that they have to deal with. And unfortunately, same thing here. We can find that these businesses might come out on the other side, and they might be the same if they're lucky. Almost likely they will be slightly worse off. Now, ideally, I want all KVV's viewers who are listening today and is going to be listening to this recording to find themselves in the green boat, or on the green line over here. And the companies on the green line are the ones who are actually taking the opportunity right now to set a foundation in place so that when the uncertainty starts clearing up, they are in a position to literally accelerate out of the bend and thrive. Now, it's easy to say, okay, great, we have to set a foundation in place, but how do we actually achieve this? Now, the first thing that we need to do here is we need to identify in our businesses what are the danger areas that we are facing right now. And once we know what these danger areas are, we can create a plan to address each of them. So if we look at a lot of the businesses that we are dealing with and the feedback that we are receiving, 3 of the danger areas that we've identified here is, first of all, there's no in-person contact. Now, this is a real challenge for a lot of businesses. Second one we've identified is the fact that a month ago our marketing messages were great, but right now we're finding ourselves in a situation where our marketing messages is off tone and it might even be inappropriate in some cases. And the last element that we are sitting here, which is a key element as well, is the fact that our clients are scared. Now, consuming information which we are being fed right now in terms of struggling economies, financial situations and outlooks which is not really looking very positive, the effects of the coronavirus around the globe, the increase in the figures. And what we need to do as businesses here is we need to change our mind frame. And instead of consuming this content, we need to adopt a mind frame where we start creating content. And we need to start creating content that would mirror the world that we want to live in. And I have to definitely give a great shout out to KVV in this instance. I think you guys have done a phenomenal job. If I look back at since the lockdown has started, you guys have literally doubled the amount of content that you are sharing on your digital channels. And if I look at the content that you are sharing as well, you are tapping into the mindset of your customers out there, what their needs are, not just from a business perspective. From a business perspective, you have increased the amount of content in your training center. But on a personal perspective as well, I think about a week into lockdown, everyone was trying to find out, well, what kind of food can I make right now? And you guys were sharing recipes already at that point. But not just that, you went a step further, and your staff were taking pictures of themselves making these recipes and sharing that, and taking videos of themselves making this and sharing that. And you connected, I think, with your audience in such a personal manner. And that is what people are going to remember after this. So definitely, I can say, fantastic job to you guys there. I think that is great what you've achieved there. But just to get back to the danger areas here, pleasure, Dion. If we look at the danger areas here, wouldn't it be good if instead of not being able to have in-person meetings, we actually have a business that is connected again? And instead of marketing messages which might be off-tone or inappropriate, that we are sharing messages again which is relevant and appreciated. And I mean, wouldn't it be great if we've got confident clients instead of clients who are scared? Now, how do we achieve this? If we just focus on 9 areas, or you can put a 9-step plan in place if you want to call it that, but if we just focus on these 9 areas, that could go a great distance in terms of helping businesses to set this foundation in place. So how do we get our businesses connected again? We need to definitely start adapting these technologies like Zoom and Skype. In terms of the phone, perhaps this is a good time for us to sharpen up our phone skills again, whether it's from a sales perspective or a customer service perspective, or just to connect with our clients again. And from a lead generation perspective, I mean, there are still a lot of opportunities online. For instance, if you look at LinkedIn, to go and find individuals who are looking for solutions right now where you can as a business help them and connect with those individuals right now. And you can even work it back. Once you've connected with someone on LinkedIn, for instance, you can work it back to a phone call. And if the phone call is successful, you can work it back to some kind of an online meeting like Zoom, where you can share a presentation or even do a demo. If we look at our marketing messages, how do we make them relevant and appreciated again? First thing we need to do here is we need to get into the conversations that's happening in our clients' heads right now. And how do we do that? We need to speak to them, and we need to find out what are the 3 danger areas that they are facing in their businesses right now. And once we know what these conversations are that are going on in their head, we can go and we can reframe the context of our messages to make them relevant and appreciated again. And if we look at the 3rd point here that we had, how do we build confidence within our clients again? First thing we need to do there is we need to increase the amount of one-on-one conversations that we are having right now. I think 2 weeks into lockdown, customers were actually so glad to hear you when you started phoning them. Yeah. It was a completely different conversation that you had with them. And it's just that connection that is sometimes needed. You're not necessarily phoning to sell or to provide a service. It's just speaking with your customers and keeping that connection, that relationship in place. And then in terms of planning, I mean, wouldn't it be fantastic if you can actually approach your customers with some kind of a plan to show them how they can take advantage of the current situation in terms of this digital acceleration that we are talking about, for instance, and how they can help their businesses and what the opportunities are in there. That would go a phenomenal way towards building confidence within your customers. And the last area that we need to focus on in terms of creating confidence is the offers that we make to our customers right now. So those businesses who are still actively selling as well, you need to make sure that what you offer is relevant. I'm talking about the old scenario of going out and trying to sell someone a luxury cruise liner, when where they are right now as a business, all they need is a life raft. Yeah. So you might need to reinvent your offer slightly to make sure that what you are offering is inspiring confidence and can help that business as well. So if we look at the crux of this figure that we've got here, if we can adapt that mind frame to create content instead of consuming, and we can focus in our businesses on these 9 areas, then the reality is that we will have a very good opportunity to set that foundation in place right now, so that when the uncertainty starts clearing up, that we are in a position to accelerate out of that bend and to thrive as a business.
Sure. Yeah, that's very insightful, and thank you for that. And I think it's the same language that we try and speak in KVV often, in terms of trying to determine what our clients want, what our customers want. It's not about what we want and enforcing our wants and our needs on them. It's about understanding, engaging with them, and then putting the plan together to try and help them to be in a better place. So thank you for that. That's very insightful. And I think
absolutely,
Finally, last question. I know you can keep talking about this topic the whole day, and I can sit there listening. Thank you for your insight. Last question that I just want to get your insights from is, it's safe to assume that the way in which we do business will never be the same again. Is it possible for companies to future-proof their business with COVID-19 to avoid a situation like we're facing at the moment? How's the future looking for us in terms of future-proofing our game plan? And I would like to get your insights on that as well.
Okay, yeah, interesting one, Dion, definitely. I think for one thing, if there's something that we've learned from the coronavirus pandemic and what it has taught us, it's that there will always be elements that we cannot control. And if we as a business is not able to adapt quickly to continue to engage with and serve our clients, then the impact on that business can be devastating. And unfortunately, we've seen too much of that during the crisis that we are facing right now. But if you think about it, businesses invest a lot of money into their products and services that they deliver. And nobody is really going to question that investment. But if I was to sit here today and I was to say to you that the digital experience that every brand offers plays an equally important role on the outcome of that business, then I'm pretty sure that we will have a few people who might raise their hands and question the spend on something like that. Now, if we had to consider that usually, and by usually I mean before the coronavirus pandemic, we found that about 70% of buyers relied on some form of digital content to learn more about your products or services as a business. So that basically means that 70% of research was being done online before someone would actually contact a vendor or a supplier. Now, currently with lockdown and social distancing, we are finding that literally 100% of research is being conducted online. Now, you have to think of that. If you as a business is not providing the digital experience to make it easy for those individuals out there right now to find the information that they need, then they will move on to a competing brand who does. That's a fact. So if we can maybe just have a look at these two brands quickly to put things into perspective, and I'm going to share my screen with you again there, Dion, if you can just let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, that's it.
Move us to the side a bit here again.
Netflix,
right.
Interesting decision of companies there.
Yes. I mean, this is an age-old story that people probably a lot of them have heard before. But yes, Netflix and Blockbuster, I mean, two very similar business models or working in the same industry. And if we had to ask right now, how important is a positive digital experience for these businesses? And in these businesses, I mean, basically any business who's listening right now. And I had to ask you, Dion, I mean, if you had to choose between Netflix and Blockbuster, which of these businesses would you rather be?
Yeah, Netflix off the back.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to say Netflix for sure. Yeah. But if you look at the story of these two businesses, and that might be something that is also a bit interesting, Blockbuster, for instance, I mean, they were a massive company in 2004, and they had an annual turnover of over $6 billion a year. That is huge as a business. Netflix at that stage was nothing more than a little blimp on the radar of Blockbuster, and they didn't really consider them much of a threat. But the difference between these two businesses is the fact that Blockbuster didn't innovate and they didn't adapt, where Netflix did. And the result of that story is the fact that Blockbuster in 2010, they applied for bankruptcy and eventually closed their doors in 2012. Whereas Netflix, if we look at their storyline, is completely different. And the figures on here are slightly older. If we look at last year, Netflix had a turnover of over $20 billion annual turnover. And as a business, they are worth $125 billion right now. That is massive compared to where they were. And if we have to ask now again, I mean, how important is a positive digital experience if we consider these businesses? Then absolutely. I mean, it's imperative for a business to thrive in the changing world that we are in right now. And we can literally go out and say that we now live in the Netflix era because Netflix has set a trend for us there. And what I mean by that is when a business or when a buyer goes to your business, they are expecting a certain experience right now. They are expecting to go to your business and they're expecting to find something that looks like this. They're expecting this experience that is engaging and that is tailored to them and that is intuitive. And unfortunately, what these buyers are finding most of the time when they visit a business is they're still finding something that looks a little bit like this, very much like Blockbuster. They're finding a very generic experience, something that's static and something that is not very engaging for them. Now, we have to remember that these buyers have grown accustomed to these personalized experiences in their everyday lives. And they now expect these personalized experiences whenever and wherever they interact with a business or a brand. Now, the good news is that it has become much easier to create these personalized experiences for our customers because of the advancement in technology. And unfortunately, when Netflix started out, it probably was a bit more difficult for them. But today we've got digital experience platforms, which is an emerging technology that can literally make it a substantial amount easier for our businesses to create these tailored experiences. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough time to go into the inner workings of these digital experience platforms, but they are really phenomenal tools. And if someone wants to learn more about them, they are welcome to go to our website and they can apply there for a demo. Or Dion, they're welcome to give you a call as well or contact you, and you're welcome to share my details with them. And I would be glad to give them a call personally and speak to them about their requirements and share a bit more information with them. But if we have to answer the question right now in terms of can we future-proof our businesses, the reality is that we can't predict the future. What we can do is we can adapt our businesses, we can embrace the digital acceleration which we are seeing right now, and we can empower our customers by providing them with these personalized digital experiences which they want and which they are looking for. Now, if we can achieve that, then I'm not saying we're future-proofing our businesses, but what we can do is we can make our businesses a substantial amount more sustainable and give them a great deal of a competitive advantage as we move into the future, which a lot of people are starting to call the new normal. And that's what we're going to have to get used to.
Yeah, that's a lot of interesting information that you shared. And I really want to thank you for your time, Kobus. Apart from your time at KVV, there's a few slogans, if I may call it that we believe in, and you alluded to some of those, and it's control the controllables, which is sometimes tough in uncertain times, but that's something that we believe in. And apart from control the controllables is to innovate and keep innovating. And I think from our business, I mean, you've been part of our business and your group's been part of our business, our digital lives for the last five years, and I can really vouch for you, and I want to thank you for the contribution you've made to our business, developing us, engaging with our clients, and I really believe that's given us a bit of a competitive advantage over our competitors. So thank you to you. I would recommend you and your business to anybody. You've got that personal touch. It's not just the business of a partner, and we do believe that life and not life business is about partnerships. And if you have strong partners like yourself, who is the expert, which you've clearly indicated today to us, then we can all just thrive. Doesn't matter how uncertain life is, there's always opportunities. And I want to thank you for sharing that. And then just finally, if you can just maybe give your website, just share your website with the viewers, and then as you said, they're more than welcome to contact me. As long as they're not competitors, I won't give your details to them, but anybody else. I'm just joking. So please just share your email address. And then once again, thank you for taking the afternoon and spending some time with us.
Perfect, Dion. Yes, on the email address side or website side, our website is eMSDigital.co.za. And my email address is Kobus@eMSDigital.co.za. They're welcome to contact me there. And yes, from our perspective as well, I mean, we thoroughly enjoy dealing with you guys. You know that. You're a creative bunch of people. You're forward thinkers, definitely the kind of businesses that we thoroughly enjoy working with as well. And you understand the market, you understand the risks, and you understand the future of where things are going. And from that perspective as well, I think what you have done, like I say already, with and without our help, because it's not always just us. Like I say, there's a lot of great ideas coming from you, and we learn from our clients as well sometimes. you're definitely one of those clients that we also learn from. So it is a partnership, and we thoroughly enjoy working with you, and we hope that we'll be able to add a lot more value to your business going forward as well, and to the rest of the KVV team as well.
Okay. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.
Great, yeah, and look forward to our next coffee in person.
That's it. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Keep well. Bye-bye.
Bye.